Hey there everyone. Today, I decided to do a relatively new concept for a video. Well, to be fair, it's a series of videos, which will be called Dun 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 League Mentality 101. This is where I would roll a cool title card, but I'm too poor to hire an editor, as well as too poor to buy Adobe products. So this is what you're going to get, just an unedited version of my League games, which I can then highlight certain aspects of what I'm going over. So, this series plans to be going over the mental aspects of League of Legends. The specific aspects you may be asking yourselves are, well, less strategic, like macro and other aspects. We'll go over this point actually in a second. Let me pause the video there. So, what I mean are things that encompass the psychological aspects of League of Legends, such as someone calling you a mean name, which then causes you to tilt and play worse, and then you lose the game because of it. Something a little bit on the higher end of things, such as playing in Clash and having a lot of pressure put onto yourself, and you're playing differently than you normally would, be it better or worse. So to start this series of videos, I figured that going over something simple that everyone will know already would be beneficial. So that way everyone can get used to each other. So I plan on going over tilt. I'm sure most of you know what tilt is as of right now. You know, you're about to experience it though. If you don't, you're gonna see tilt happen. You're not. In this video, I plan on showing you what tilt is, what causes it, and maybe provide some ways that you can prevent it from happening to yourself. For those of you who do know what tilt is, however, and you choose to continue watching, maybe I can put something in a new perspective that you haven't thought of before. Or maybe I point out something that you as a whole didn't even know existed. So to start off with, let's ask what tilt is. Well, tilt is where a player makes a mistake and then proceeds to play worse because of it. Or someone calls them a name and they begin to play worse because of it as well. So an example that I can give in League of Legends is giving up first blood to your laner and then playing worse because of it. For example, missing CS, giving up another kill, playing in a way that's vulnerable to ganks, teleporting to a bad spot and then getting return ganks. All of these things are potential ways that tilt can manifest. A physical example I can give for tilt is that it's like a snowball at the top of a mountain, and someone comes up and rolls the snowball a little bit. It gains a little bit of snow. In this case, snow is tilt. And as the snowball begins to roll and roll and roll, it'll pick up speed and it won't need someone to push it anymore. It'll just have its own momentum. And it'll continue to roll and roll and roll and pick up more and more snowballs until it affects, more and more people around you. Because tilt is like an ambience effect. Similar to like smoking in a car with other people. Secondhand smoke exists. Secondhand tilt exists. Where someone else on your team is doing so bad that you then begin to tilt because of it. So that is, in essence, what tilt is. It's a declining mental state that leads to poor decision making. You may then ask yourself, well, what are the causes of tilt? It could be anything, as to previously mentioned first blood or someone calling you a mean name, to you're on a loss streak, or you're in your promos and someone gives first blood, or you just naturally are susceptible to tilt as a whole, and it causes you to feel really negative when you go into a game due to your previous experiences with it. Like you're used to someone inting in your game, and so you just kind of expect it. And then when it happens, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you feel worse and worse about it. I'm sure those of you know, for an example, is someone, like your jungler, for example, comes in, gives mid lane first blood by accident, due to a failed gank. And then your mid laner is saying, GG, team difference, and then mid's open. Or something along the lines of, AFK, I don't care. Or even threatening to go AFK if someone doesn't necessarily feed, but just interacts with them negatively. So, what are the effects of tilt? Well, I can go over certain things. For example, right now I'm under the effects of tilt. I am in a compounding state of negative loss, where I gave up a huge trade early to set, which is the cause of the tilt. I ended up losing a very early trade to set due to my overconfidence and my damage. And so because of that, I have now led to a death. And then I almost kill set again. And then I don't because the enemy jungler is there, which honestly was something I should have known based on the positioning of the camps, his CS, where our jungler was, just the things that were happening. But because I'm under the effects of tilt, I'm not playing as well or as smart as I should be, which then leads me to die again under tower, which then leads me to die again in the river. I'm just under the effects of a negative mindset, which are then causing me to play worse than I normally would. So let's fast forward a little bit till my next death, which happens. So I'm just existing, trying to play under tower, trying to recover from this mental state of mine. And I shouldn't be able to beat him here, right? I should know that because he's 3-0 and I'm 0-3, he's up on CS. He's, not up a level, but he's up XP. That I shouldn't be able to beat him. But I still fight him, and I still end up dying because of it. Normally, I would have recognized that, hey, I should not be interacting with this individual and should be primarily focused on CSing. Because he can't dive me alone. He needs a friend. And Nocturne, while not on the minimap, probably isn't going to come up and gank me. Since I'm already 0-3, Set should be able to handle me for a long time. So, yeah. But I decide to continue to make worse decisions. So let's fast forward again. So at this point in the game, I'm fucked. I should not be able to make a comeback because of the way that my tilt has affected me. I should just be on a downward slope forever. However, because I'm streaming at the time at twitch.tv//marshmallowruffian.com, I'm able to interact with other people and talk to them. And it kind of grounds me in a state of being that recognizes that, hey, I'm playing bad because of my mental state. You need to find something that can ground you and bring you back to the reality of what's happening. So I don't come back to reality, mind you, for a little bit, and I'm getting destroyed because of it. Like, I'm feeding. I am hard inting right now. But I start formulating in my mind, like, hey, what do I need to do to come back and win? Well, I'm a pretty big CS disadvantage. He's up by a pretty large amount of gold. He's got 4 kills, I have 0. He's a 400 gold bounty. I decide, I'm just going to try slow push this wave, wait a little bit. Gonna hard push the next wave, I believe. No, I also slow push this one. Then I hard push the next one, I guess. The specifics don't really matter. But I kind of just begin to turn off my brain, caring less about the emotional state of things and more of just farming. Farming, trying to get back in the game, trying to improve my mental so that way I don't feel so bad about how hard I ended. And luckily, my team is not flaming me during any of this. My team is being very considerate. They understand that I got ganked really early on for the second kill. The first one I just fed because I'm tilt. And they're being really considerate. You shouldn't always expect this, so some suggestions I could give are muting all, because realistically, you're not going to get positive vibes from your teammates at lower elos. So bronze, iron, silver, and even gold. I think that muting all your teammates just immediately, not their pings, because the pings are still useful, but muting, oh, this is actually pretty good fight. Muting the way they, are. So I didn't die there, even though I'm 0-5. Which is honestly surprising. Nocturne's inting, and this in turn is stacking tilt on the enemy team. And tilt on the enemy team is a perfectly justifiable way to win the game, by making them feel worse and worse by fucking up. You can even call them out in chat, though you need to watch out for that kind of stuff because it's like a double-edged sword where if you insult the enemy in chat and they beat you in a 1v1 or something, it can cause the inverse of that, which is like a positive morality boost to them and their team as a whole, as well as it will then hurt your team's mental. So, what do you do to get out of tilt? Well, currently, as I said before, I'm just CSing. I'm just trying to farm and survive and like move past the negative aspects that I've been a part of. Move past how hard I fucked up and try and get to a point where I no longer have to suffer. And that's not a fun time, mind you. It's not fun to play like this. It's not fun to recognize like, hey, I can't do anything. But it's working. It's changing the dynamic of the game. Set's now tilted. Okay? I'm no longer tilted. I killed Set. In stream I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Get fucked, you little bitch. But, you know, Set, he's like, I'm 6-1 and he was 0-6 and he just killed me. Sure, he died me under a tower, but he should have still been able to kill me. He just messed up mechanically, and I was able to abuse that. And this causes my mental to get substantially better. And my team isn't behind. We're not ahead. We're actually behind by 5k gold, and they have a Jinx, an Ashe, a Set, and a Galio, all of which are fairly scaly champions. Whereas we have a Trundle and a Diana who don't really scale too well comparatively. So we're on a clock, and they should just be able to stitch this out because of how far ahead they are. But because of the way I'm playing, and because of the way my team's playing, our mentality is getting better and better and better, and the enemy mentality is getting worse and worse. So they're taking worse fights that they don't need to. For example, fighting in the jungle right here, very bad for their team as a whole, just because of our Sona and our MF and just our Diana jumping into the back line right here and just corralling all of them. It hurts them. It really does. And it causes them to play even worse now. So the gold gap has gone from 5,000 to 3,000, a little bit over 2k actually. And they're just going to continue playing worse. And they're tilt stacking, and they're playing worse. They're trying to make something happen when they honestly don't need to. Because of the way their team composition is, they scale comparatively to us. But they're trying to fight us because they feel like they're suffocating. That's what tilt causes. It causes like a suffocation effect where, you know, everything just that's happening is a negative aspect and nothing really feels good anymore. So another way you can kind of get out of a tilted mindset is become less invested in the game. And that doesn't mean don't try. It kind of just means like don't focus on the game as a like be all end all kind of thing. Think of it as a like, see right here, they stayed because they're tilted. They stayed because they thought they could do something, which is obvious that they couldn't. It's a 5v2 of 2 squishies with a lot of engage on our team. Like, they couldn't have done anything, but they tried to, and that was a mistake caused by the fact that they feel like they need to do something. So back to what I was saying. Tilt. Ways to get rid of it. Just play smarter. Get out of the mindset that this game matters. Like, sure, the rank matters, but this single game, if it prevents you from getting out of gold, or silver, or bronze, or iron, or plat, or diamond, if this is the game that prevents you from winning and climbing, well then, you weren't meant to climb in the first place. Then you need to work on your skill as a player. So if this game is completely unwinnable, you have 4 people in your team who are win trading to the enemy team, you can't win it. Don't be upset about it. Just focus, be like, okay, well, it's fine. I did my best, and I didn't win. If this one was truly unwinnable, I should win the next one, or I should win the one after, or I should win the one after that. And I should be able to climb eventually. Within like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I should be able to get to the next rank if I'm actually good enough. So don't think of it as a singular this is the game that matters. Think of it as the climb is what really matters, and this is just a stopgap between then and then. All right. I plan on doing more videos like this, where I kind of go into aspects of what tilt is, as well as how tilt happens, things that I like. Leave a like, subscribe, stream, come out, check it out. Twitch.tv/marshmallowruffian.com. Thanks. Have a great one, guys.